Hi everyone! If you're just starting to learn English, you're in the right place. Today, we'll cover a story about God works in mysterious ways. This story is perfect if you're new to English. And don't forget to tell me in the comments what you want to learn next. Ready to get started? Let's dive in and make learning English fun. God works in mysterious ways. Chapter 1: The Darkest Hour. It was a cold, rainy night. Maria sat on the floor, crying. She felt lost. Everything in her life had gone wrong. Her job was gone. She had no money left. Even her best friend had stopped talking to her. She felt completely alone. "I don't know what to do," she whispered. "Is anyone even listening?" Maria had always believed that something greater than her was guiding her life. She believed in signs, in hope, and things happening for a reason. But now, everything seemed so broken. She wasn't sure if any help would ever come. The rain outside became heavier, and thunder roared in the distance. It felt like the storm inside her heart. Suddenly, Maria felt an urge. Something inside her said, "Go outside." She had no idea why. But despite how strange it felt, she decided to trust that feeling. Maybe it was just her mind playing tricks, or maybe it was something more. As she stepped into the rain, her heart began to race. What was she doing? Why was she here, alone, in the middle of a storm? Chapter 2: The Stranger in the Rain. Maria walked through the empty streets. The rain soaked her clothes, but she didn't care. She felt numb, disconnected from everything around her. As she walked, she noticed a figure standing at the bus stop, holding an umbrella. At first, she didn't think much of it. But as she passed him, the man spoke. "Excuse me, miss. Are you okay?" His voice was soft, but full of concern. Maria stopped, unsure of how to respond. She wasn't okay, but how could she explain her feelings to a stranger? "I'm fine," she lied, forcing a weak smile. The man didn't push further. Instead, he said something unexpected. "Sometimes life feels impossible, but don't give up. There's always a way, even when you can't see it." Maria froze. How could he know what she was feeling? She looked at him, stunned. Before she could respond, the man pointed to the road. "Watch your step. The ground is slippery. You don't want to fall." Maria looked down and realized how wet the path was. If she hadn't been paying attention, she could have slipped. She thanked him and continued walking, but her mind was racing. His words stayed with her, echoing in her thoughts. Chapter 3: A Call for Help. The next morning, Maria woke up feeling a little different. She couldn't explain it, but something had shifted. Maybe it was the stranger's kind words. She wasn't sure. But she felt like she needed to do something productive. She picked up her phone and decided to look for jobs online. It had been weeks since she last searched. Suddenly, her phone rang. The number was unknown, but something told her to answer it. "Hello, is this Maria?" a woman's voice asked. "Yes, this is Maria," she answered, confused. "I'm calling from a company you applied to a few months ago. We saw your resume again, and we'd like to invite you for an interview tomorrow." Maria's heart skipped a beat. This was unexpected. Could this be the help she had been asking for? Chapter 4: The Unexpected Opportunity. Maria couldn't believe what had just happened. After feeling hopeless for so long, an opportunity had appeared out of nowhere. She thanked the woman on the phone and quickly wrote down the details for the interview. As she hung up, she felt a surge of hope. Maybe things were finally turning around. She couldn't stop thinking about the stranger's words. Could they have been a sign? Was there really something guiding her steps, even when she didn't realize it? That night, Maria stayed up late preparing for the interview. She researched the company, practiced her answers, and went to bed feeling more optimistic than she had in a long time. Chapter 5: A Twist of Fate. The next morning, Maria dressed in her best clothes and headed to the interview. She was nervous, but determined. Sitting in the waiting room, her heart raced. She took deep breaths, reminding herself that she had made it this far. When she entered the interview room, a man greeted her with a smile. He was tall, with glasses, and seemed friendly. The interview began, and everything was going well. Maria felt confident, answering each question with ease. But then, something unexpected happened. The man paused and looked at her closely. "Maria," he said slowly, "I feel like I've seen you before. Did we meet somewhere?" Maria was confused. "I don't think so," she said. "I don't recognize you." The man smiled thoughtfully. "Last night, I saw a woman walking in the rain. She looked lost, but I didn't stop to talk to her. Now, looking at you, I feel like it was you." Maria's eyes widened. Was this the same man she had passed at the bus stop? Chapter 6: The Offer. The man's words sent a shock through Maria. Could this really be happening? She had passed him in the rain, and now, here he was, interviewing her for a job. It felt like more than just a coincidence. She hesitated for a moment before speaking. "I was walking in the rain last night," she admitted. "But I didn't notice anyone watching me." The man nodded, his smile growing. "Funny how things work. I didn't say anything to you then, but here we are now." The interview continued, but Maria couldn't shake the feeling that something bigger was at play. It was as if her steps had been guided, leading her to this very moment. At the end of the interview, the man stood up and shook her hand. "Maria, I'm impressed. I think you're the right person for this job. I'd like to offer it to you." Maria's heart leapt with joy. She had done it. After everything she had been through, here was her chance. Chapter 7: A New Beginning. Maria left the building, feeling lighter than she had in weeks. She had a new job, a new opportunity. Everything was finally falling into place. As she walked down the street, she couldn't help but think about the stranger's words from the night before. "There's always a way, even when you can't see it." Was it really true? Had something been guiding her, helping her find her way when she felt lost? Maria smiled to herself. Maybe life had a way of sending help when you needed it most, even if it didn't make sense at the time. Chapter 8: The Road Ahead. Maria started her new job the following week. She was nervous at first, but soon realized she was good at it. Her coworkers were kind, and the work was challenging but rewarding. As she settled into her new life, Maria often thought about how everything had changed so suddenly. She had gone from feeling hopeless to having a fresh start, all because of a series of unexpected events. It felt like something had been pushing her forward, even when she wanted to give up. One evening, as she worked late, her boss, the same man from her interview, walked into her office. "You're doing great, Maria," he said warmly. "But I have to ask, why were you walking in the rain that night?" Maria smiled, remembering. "I was lost. I didn't know where to go or what to do. But somehow, I felt like I was being led." Chapter 9: The Stranger Returns. Months passed, and Maria's life continued to improve. She was happy in her job, and she had made new friends. But one thing still bothered her. She wanted to find the stranger from the bus stop. One evening, after work, Maria decided to walk the same path she had taken that rainy night. As she approached the bus stop, she saw a familiar figure. It was the man with the umbrella. Her heart raced as she walked up to him. "Excuse me," she said, "do you remember me?" The man smiled. "Of course, I remember you. I told you to be careful in the rain." Chapter 10: The Mystery of Faith. Maria stood there, stunned. "I don't know how to thank you," she said, her voice shaking. "Your words helped me that night. And now, my life is so much better." The man looked at her with kind eyes. "You don't need to thank me," he said. "I was just a small part of your journey. Sometimes, help comes in ways we don't understand." Maria's eyes filled with tears. She realized now that the stranger was right. Help had come to her when she needed it most, even when she hadn't expected it. As she walked away, Maria felt a deep sense of peace. She knew, without a doubt, that she was never truly alone. How did you like the story? Have you ever felt the presence of God in your life? Let me know in the comments below. Until next time, take care, my wonderful English learners.